Hi everyone. Today we'll be doing something special. We'll be doing a multimodal retrieval that takes in either a text or image as the query and returns back a set of images and text. So let us see how to do this. So before that, let me just load up my application. So yeah, I'm be using Python for today's byte coding. And to keep things simple, I've used the fruits dataset from the Kaggle competition where, there's a couple of fruits like apples, bananas, and so on. Yep, so that you can try to search over these images. And yeah, the embedding for the multimodal that will be used is the Cohere embed v4, embed 4, because this is by far, I think, one of the best multimodal embeddings. You can use this to do images and text to go to the same semantic space. So like if we were to just do like a graph of semantic space, like your text and images can all be mapped into this semantic space here. And like let's say X is a text and O is an image, you can actually like find the you know, nearest points around like O is, let's say O is the, okay, let's say O is the text and X the image. You can find with just one text, you can find like the similar images around the embedding space using cosine similarity. So that's more or less how this is done. So typically you have to train them yourself over millions or billions of text image pairs, trying to use contrastive similarity, a contrastive loss to map the space between text and images. And you can check out Clip if you are interested to find out how this is done. So what we'll do is we'll just use what people have already created because, it's not very feasible to train millions of image text pairs ourselves. So this is actually quite good. You can see that this embed 4 is much better than the text embedding tree large, which is OpenAI's best text embedder at multiple domains, right? So how do we do this? So first up, let's just get some admin done. We can go to the API keys here. I'm just going to create a new trial key. So maybe over here we get multimodal trial or something like that. So this trial keys, you can use about 100 embeddings per minute. So of course you shouldn't show your API key to everyone, but I'm going to delete this after this. I'm just going to show you how this is done. So you can just create an environment variable called Cohere API key. All right, so this is done. We save as a .m. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to vibe code this out. So we want to vibe code something that, based on what we already have, we want to perhaps embed this thing. So let me just go to fruits simplified, where this fruit simplified is basically I took 3 images from each fruit. So this is apple, 1, 2, 3 are apples, and 4, 5, 6 are bananas, and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask O4 mini, okay, to come and create Python code that can do this text image embedding. All right, so let me just try to first give it a screenshot of this fruit simplified. Okay, we just put it here. Then we give it web search. Okay, I want to use embed v4 by Cohere to embed images in fruits simplified folder. This image shows the files that are present in the folder. Okay, then what we want to do, maybe let me just zoom in a bit. Okay, I want to also, yeah, the API key is stored in .in.n as Cohere API key. And I would like to take a text query and return the top 3 images in this folder that are semantically similar to the text query. So something like this. Let's run it. Hope for the best, because you can see in this files here you have JPEG, you have PNG, you have JPG, right? Hey, where's my JPEG? Yeah, there's a JPEG here, image3.jpg. So let's see whether it works. So yeah, it came out with something, and just want to see whether this works. Let me just copy and paste this code into here. So the code does something like, first you load the image, is either PNG or JPEG. I'm not sure whether they have taken the JPG into consideration, but we'll see, we'll see. Yep, so this is the embed using the Cohere embedding model. So you load the image, all right, input type image and so on. Okay, normalize embeddings and you embed the query as well. Then do a cosine similarity to find out which of the images are semantically similar. And yeah, you have a parser that they have. Parse for images similar to a text query using Cohere embed v4. Okay, add this fruit simplified, add top K. And then we have this search is the image searcher. What's image searcher here? Is this class here? Okay, that basically initializes a Cohere client and creates the image embedding. So that looks good so far. You print out the path name. All right, let's just take a look. Okay. All right, so let's just copy and paste this back into ChatGPT. Okay, it didn't really work out too well. There was an error. So let's see whether it manages to solve this by itself. Okay, so this is the beauty of vibe coding. If let's say there's any error that people have encountered before, perhaps it's already known either using web search or the native LM knowledge to solve this problem. So I really like it when they included web search inside the O4 Mini or the models that have reasoning, because it really helps a lot with giving it the right context needed to solve the problem. You know, if not, if you use the LM's fixed knowledge, you might end up in loops where the LM thinks that it's correcting itself when it's actually doing the wrong thing. Okay, so let's see. When you invoke this, it launches it by the kernel and injects its arguments. Okay, so basically there's some issue with the Jupyter Notebook kernel. So spawn a Python process, ignore. Okay, revise code snippet, code magic. Okay, so let's see. Did they change this code here? Change, output me the full code that can work in Jupyter Notebook. Okay, let's see whether we get the code. Okay, so we can take away this thing here. We don't need this. We have this whole thing here. Okay, I don't really like it like that. Let's ask it to output it as one whole chunk of code. Okay, much better. So we have all this here. So we have a pip installed at the front here to just make sure all your requirements are installed. That's great. Okay, so this looks similar to what we have, but it doesn't have the... I guess what it does now is probably remove a few of the stuff that caused an error just now. Let's see. Yeah, this parser thing caused an error because the parser was meant for shell commands or terminal. Okay, so let's take a look. This is a directory .ip. Oh, okay. There is this IPYMB checkpoints inside here, which they didn't filter out. So let's try to get them to filter it out. Okay, let's see whether it managed to solve the code given this error. Okay, so it looks like a simple bug that we could fix. I think they will just do some checks here to make sure that... Okay, I'm not too sure what they changed, but let's just copy and paste and see whether it works. Okay, so right rate apple. We should get top 3 images, should be the first 3. Image 1, image 2, and image 3. Let's take a look. Okay, it's running the query right now. Okay, so every time it searches the query, it would need to get the image embeddings for everything. So it's not very efficient, you see. Like, I see what they changed here. They check only .jpg, .jpeg, and .png, which is great because that's every single image file we have here. And there we go. Very nice. So apples, it has gotten 3 apples. Bananas, it has gotten the 3 bananas. So really, really cool. Like, this is such a short piece of code. With the Cohere API, you could just do the image and text embeddings like that. So pretty nice. Now, what I like to do is I like to optimize it a little bit more by saying that, I want to store the embeddings somewhere. all right, because I don't want to recalculate the embeddings again. So what we can do, let's just say I would like to store the image and text embeddings into a database that can be referenced again if a similar image or text is used in the future. In other words, I would like to compute the embeddings only once for each novel input. Let's see whether it works, because yeah, if this kind of works, we will not need to keep computing the embeddings, because it's kind of a waste of money to calculate the embeddings again and again, right? So let's see. Start by gathering citations. Uh, why do you need citations for this? Okay. Okay, local SQLite or ChromaDB, PineConeDB. Yeah, that's good database solutions. But if you're using cloud providers, you can use the cloud provider DB as well. So they've determined that SQLite, is this free? SQLite create tables, if not, okay. All right, so you asked me to create SQLite, rewrite the full code that involves the SQLite. In SQLite implementation. Okay, now they ask me to put inside here. Okay, that's fine with me. Yeah, no problem. Okay, let's copy and paste this code then. Copy, paste it here. Okay, you see, there's this triple backticks. Okay, so this is an error in the OpenAI side. They didn't remove the triple backticks of Python. So yeah, stuff like this is what makes bytecoding a little dangerous. Is because sometimes you may not get the code as required, and so some manual intervention is needed. Like you kind of need to understand what's going on here. If not, you might you might get scammed. So yeah, so what we changed over here was, where's my SQLite? Ah, there we go. DB path is embeddings.db. Okay, we have the SQLite. We have this con.cursor. I guess this is just a connection, right? Yeah, connection. You can execute an SQL query over it. Okay, create table if not exists is embeddings, and then select from. Why is there a model version? Model version text. What is this model? Let's take a look. Ah, embed v4. Oh, okay, okay. So they have already created the embeddings based on the embedding model. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's run it. Okay, could not find a version for SQLite. All right, let's copy and paste this inside here. I'm pretty sure I need to install SQLite somewhere. So okay, I removed the erroneous SQLite tree since it's part of the Python standard library, and ensured the script uses SQLite tree directly. Okay, all right, let's copy and paste and see what works and what doesn't. Okay, wait, let me just interrupt the kernel first. Restart and run all cells. All right, let's take a look. But it's pretty cool, in just like 5 minutes, I managed to create the retrieval already, just with this Cohere embeddings, which is really cool to me. Like this is top notch. Like usually this takes hours, yeah. But if it's vibe coding and a lot of people have done it before, then and with an API like this, you don't have to run the PyTorch model yourself directly. It saves a lot of trouble, right? Let's see what's happening here. Yes, right bread apple, we get this. Okay, so that means if we were to do right break apple, we should be able to get this instantly because we have done the query for the text before. Output array is read only. Oh, okay. Right. Why did it work the first time, but right braid? Maybe right braid. Okay. See, now it gets cherries. So every time I create the... Okay, let me just paste this thing here like that. You can also give the error messages as images. So you can put here, like, say, when I run the same text query again, it gives me this error. Okay, so while waiting for it to load, let's just take a look. Where's the SQLite embeddings.db? Okay, all right. So cool. We store everything in this embeddings.db. It's a SQL table that can be obtained using SQL query, which is great because it's very fast. All right, SQL has been quite optimized for retrieval and storage. I'm very impressed that it came out with this. I was thinking more of using like some vector DB, like either like Chroma, V8, Minecone, that kind of stuff. I created a vector DB using SQL. Oh, that's cool as well. Yep. Copying cache. When loading from SQLite, we now immediately .copy to get a writable array. In query image, we replace this to ensure that no modification of a potentially read-only buffer. Okay, so basically when you do normalization, you don't modify the database. So the database only gets written once. All right, let me just ask them to remove the Python and at the end of the code. All right, because it's getting quite frustrating to keep removing it manually, like, so just ask it to remove. Right, vibe coding is really getting better, especially web search. It's really very good now. So let's run this. Ta-da! You see instant because it has already indexed the images already. All right. So that's cool. All right. Let's see, like, let's say if I want to say like a red fruit, maybe top case 10. All right, let's see whether it works. Red fruit. Ta-da! Wow. It really got quite good results. All right, let's try something else. Maybe we want to do, let's see, fruit with a black background. Okay, because okay, black back. Okay, it doesn't really do black backgrounds very well. See, all of them are white. Maybe because there's no black backgrounds. Maybe we just put like white background or black background. Aha. Okay, so it can't do backgrounds very well for these embeddings. Like it can identify the fruit pretty well, but the scores wise, not very catered to background. Maybe because there's no background. Like if I try white background, how does it work? White background looks okay, decent. How about other stuff like fruit with a leaf? Okay, because like some fruits with an apple, right? It has a leaf. Let's try fruit with a leaf. Okay, leaf, leaf. Oh, very nice. Oh, this has no leaf, you see? Yeah, so there's some errors retrieving for some, but most of them are correct. Right, let's try something else. Like let's try this strawberry. Strawberry that is a red fruit with holes, maybe. Yeah. Ta-da. Okay, here. Okay, I guess there's a hole at top of the apple as well. Red fruit with how do you describe a strawberry? Okay, let's take a look. Strawberry. Soft red fruit with a seed studded surface. All right, let's try that. Red fruit with seed studded surface. Okay, it got the strawberry. Got the strawberry. Okay, so it's not, say, very accurate in terms of these fruits, I guess, but it manages to get most of the main ones. All right. So I guess if you put like a leafy top, so you make it a bit more. There we go. You see, you can match more of this. that is not an apple. Or grape. All right. Oh, you see, not an apple. You see, it still managed. So it probably cannot handle complex query like that. So red fruit, but not an apple or grape. Okay, see, it doesn't handle negation very well. When I say not an apple, it still gives apple. Right? So this is something that the embeddings could improve a bit, but you see at least the strawberry has been obtained, all right? So maybe like strawberry. If I just put strawberry, I think it will get it. Yeah, yeah. So it's the characteristics of it. Strawberry in with black background. Okay, so you see, the strawberries with non-white background. Looks okay, yeah. I mean, first the non-white background came up, but you see the black background at the back is very close. I guess that's because we didn't filter like things like we don't want those things with black background. Okay, so I think one thing that could be done is that uh, the embeddings, of course, could improve with increasing specifications of descriptions. So that one I leave it to Cohere or the other embedding providers to figure it out. Right. So right now, what I'm interested in is, can I give it an image and find out things that are similar to that image? Because right now we only have like what do you call it? We only have fruits simplified, which is like all the fruits. Can we do the retrieval for an image as an input? All right, let's just ask ChatGPT to create this. I would like to give an image as input to find out similar images. The input for the retrieval should be either an image or text. Right, let's see how it comes out with this. Hey, let's take a look. Impressive, 9 seconds. It managed to create this already. A text string, image file path. It auto detects whether the input is a valid file path and retrieve the top K similar images. Let's take a look. Okay, so we can also query fruits simplified apple.jpg. So let's run this. All right, let's run this. Okay, go. Um, okay. Right, break apple, you get top three, and apple.jpg, we can get top three also. So you can have the file path as well. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, we can get file path as well. Let's take a look. Nothing is happening. I'm not sure what's the hold up. Okay, maybe the query here, the input path here may not be able to load. Okay, when things like this happen, we just restart and run the cells again. All right, let's try that. All right. Okay, it's not even running the first query, so there might be something wrong with that. Oh, yes, it's running. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Very nice. It managed to search for apples already. Okay, let's make things a little more complicated. So I want to search with both the image and text. Like as the input for the retrieval, do the query for the retrieval, as the query for the retrieval to be a hybrid of text and images. It can be either modality or it could be both. Okay, because actually Cohere embeddings can do a hybrid text image embedding. So let's see whether this works. Right? Extended query to extract single item or a list of items. Embeddings for each inputs are cached and averaged into a composite query embedding. Okay, you can do composite query embedding. That's not exactly the one I want to do because Cohere does take in the documentation. Actually, I'll just ask them to Cohere embeddings does take in both text and image at the same time. Use that instead of averaging the embeddings. Actually, maybe Cohere averages, but I think they use a multimodal language model to do it. So it's best to just use their embeddings that they have for multimodal embedding. Okay, let's take a look. All right, let's see what we get. You see now we have ripe at red apple, fruit simplified. So great, we can get a query that is both text and image. All right, input type equals multimodal, so Cohere can handle the fusion natively. Ta-da! Awesome. Okay, let's copy and paste this. I love vibe coding. All right, ripe red apple, fruit simplified banana. So they match. Also Cohere embeddings, they match the. I hope this is done correctly. Let's see the Cohere documentation. So let's see. Docs, API references, v2 embed. So you can type in text. Okay. Okay, this is images. I guess you can put in images here and text is something else, right? Like, let's take a look. Multimodal embed. So we can do the multimodal embed using image input type is image input. Okay, we can do this. Encoded images, image URL is this. This client v2. Let's see whether we use client v2. Let's see. No, we are using client only. So there's something wrong here. Let's maybe give it this documentation here. Maybe it handled it wrongly. Call the embed endpoints. Okay, here we have content type is image URL. You can put inputs is this. I guess we can put multimodal inside this inputs thing. All right, so let's see. Embed input is type text. Embed input. This is still text only. Okay, multilingual semantic search, multimodal PDF search. Or you can also search PDF. Okay, you can put the PDF file path as your text here. I guess they'll convert the PDF into text using like some PDF reader. Okay, you can store in ChromaDB, right? Search query to query over documents. Right. Let me just Google search. How do I query with both text and image to Cohere API? Okay, there's a Microsoft one, but let's take a look at the Cohere one to see whether we can get. How does it work? Nope, this doesn't do that. Python code. Okay, I guess let's take a look at the Microsoft one. So let's see. Inputs, embedding input. So Oh yeah, this cannot have both text and image because they only have it for Cohere embeddings directly, not with other people. So let's see here. Simultaneously. You want to do it? Okay, multimodal is capable of processing both images and input type parameter. Okay, so multilingual support with image. Text field must be empty. But what if I want both the image and the text field together? Mixed modalities. Okay, so there we go. See example doc. We have this. Okay, I guess let's just try our code because you see over here our code already has both, and we just pass them both into input type multimodal. I'm not sure whether this kind of thing is already there. Let's just Google it. Okay. Maybe one way to verify is that we just change the code here instead of right where Apple, we can just put like strawberry without banana. We try to see whether okay. So maybe first like put Apple over here. Sure, we don't have apple.jpg, right? So it might be interpreting this as a text instead of you see over here we don't have this we didn't have this orange.jpg. So what could be done is that it perhaps there isn't such an item. So it interpreted it as words. Okay, now it's taking the item in. So that's image one. So it didn't go into the multimodal part because I think this might give an error. Okay, the input type is image is probably okay, but the search query is probably wrong. Yeah, and this is using V0, V1. So this is probably not the right one. We need to use V2, right? So yes, we have apple here. Good. So we can also put like bananas. See whether it works. Both text and images. You see, both text and image cannot be given in the same request. Right. So perhaps we can't. I thought we could. Okay, let me just you know what? Let's just set the multimodal embeddings here. Because over here, you see we have the content here to be image URL, semantic search embeddings. I want to see the one that has like text and images all together in the same. Guess this is the one like this, you see? Page entry is this, and then you can give a search document. So we could treat this as pages, I guess. Yeah, multimodal PDF search. Okay, you know what? Just copy and paste the whole thing. Copy, paste. Use the V2 API instead. Right? Let's just ask ChatGPT to digest this for us because they are quite good at analyzing code, so perhaps they would be able to use V2. Let's see. Yes, they are using V2 already. So this is what you do for vibe coding. If it cannot find the right source, you copy and paste the documentation site, and generally it should work. So here we have inputs is content for the mix entries. Let's see. Multimodal content is this. And then when they query, they put the multimodal content. Where is the multimodal content? There we go. Inputs is here. Content is this. Does it work? I don't know. Does this work? Content is here. I guess it works. Yeah, I guess it works. Only way to find out is to copy and paste and run it. All right, let's try it out. Okay, so over here, instead of this one, we could put like image 4. Okay, I guess image 4 is a banana. All right. We put top face 10. Okay, just want to see what the bananas get. All right, no module name cohere.responses. All right, let's just copy and paste it here to oh, hope that and pray for the best that it manages to find it using a Google search. Okay, please rerun in your notebook. Yeah, sure, I'll rerun it in my notebook. Right. Wait, Apple image 4.jpg. Okay, let's go. Let's go. E2 client embed missing one required input argument, input type. Okay, let's see whether it works. Again, copy paste inside here, bytecode the way through. So by bytecode, it's not exactly switch your brain off. You still use your brain, but it's like having a junior programmer to help you pass through the documents and amend the code for you. But you still need to check. I see search document. Yes. Because that's how they did the sample code just now. Where's my search document? There we go, search document. Okay, let's copy and paste again. I'm going to change this to image 4 again because change this to 10. Good, it's working. Okay, it's not working. Float argument must be a string, not a real number. Embed by type response embeddings. Okay. Okay. I'm very tired of doing it, so let's just do only run one example query. This one. Okay, because I don't want to write again. I let it know I want this. All right. Okay, it needs to check the embeddings again. Fixed embeddings thing. Okay, I'll put the new chunk of code and let's see whether it works. Answer in chat. Okay, let's changing it. I think just now it didn't change the code, that's why it didn't work. Okay, let's copy and paste it and hope for the best. Yeah, okay, so now we have an apple and we should have bananas. Awesome. See, now we have both. Okay, maybe if I were to give it, another image, should simplify it. Image 7.jpg. I think it's image 7. Image 7 is a is a grape. Cherries. Okay, it's cherries. All right. Let's try this. Okay, so we query both the apples, bananas, and cherries, and we see whether we get back. Very nice. Cherries, apples. Where's my banana? So you cannot handle two images at the same time, right? I mean, like, looks like can't. Okay, but it does look like it's searching. So embed all images as this. Search documents. It looks like it's okay. Get or create embedding. Okay, at least it's doing that. so that it doesn't, recreate the embedding again when there's an embedding. So if there's this, then you can take it and return it. So you don't have to execute it again. Okay, so it doesn't seem to be able to understand two in one. Let's just take away this and see whether they can understand two images at the same time. So this should be grapes and cherries. Let's take a look. Cherries. Oh, sorry. Image 4 is bananas. Bananas, and yeah, it looks like it's getting some bananas. Okay, so it might be the case that maybe having text and images together might confuse it. Let's take a look. So image, text. All right, that's what we are doing right now. Okay, we do have some apples here. I guess the third one is not as emphasized as the first few. So image URL is here, type text is here. Okay. If input type is multimodal. Okay, if has text and has image, is multimodal. If not search query, then image. Where's this input type going to? Input type is here. 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 Okay. So I guess input type is multimodal is accepted by Cohere because it looks like it's accepting it. Input type is search query. Let's go back to the documentation. Right? Input type is multimodal. Nope, there's no input type is multimodal. But it's accepting it. Interesting. Input type as search query. Let's search query. Okay, search query is okay. Okay, this is for text query, and input type is search documents. And then you will get back the documents ID. Okay, it seems to have handled all this. It's just that input type multimodal it doesn't use input type search document. It uses input type search multimodal. I don't think there's an input type image. Probably need to use something like this one. Input type PDF. Okay, so honestly, I'm not too sure whether this is really working, but it looks like it's working because, if we just query big red apple or something like that with just the apple, the default top K is, top K is 3, I think. Default top K is 3. Let's see. Yeah, default top K is 3. So if I just search apples, it gives me all the apples. Okay, if I search fruits simplified dash image 1.jpg, which is the apple image, it gives me apples as well. So yeah, I'm not too sure why it works. Uh, input type multimodal. Maybe it's a previous version. Like, okay, let's just search the input type for this. Input type for Cohere multimodal embeddings. Right. Okay, there's only search query and search document in Llama index. Documentation. I mean, it looks like it's working, right? I don't have to, but I don't know why it manages to work without using the stuff in that I gave it. Is there something that I'm missing? Is as input type here, Cohere v2, input type is search query. I mean, I'm someone who just wants to understand like what's going on here. You see, like I don't want to just take it wholesale that, hey, it's working, so let's just forget about it. It's working. It's a input type image Cohere multimodal embeddings. Why is it working? Uh, input type image. Okay, looks like there's an input type image here. Aha, so maybe there's a documentation for this input type image. Okay, looks like there is an input type image, all right? It's just not on their website. Input type multimodal. The input type. I mean, it's working. I don't want to say it's not working. It is working. Okay, I was just gonna take it that since they did not create an error for this, like it managed to do this, it's probably working. All right, we'll leave it as that. Okay, so now I want to do something even more complicated. So I want to index everything in this fruits folder. So like here we have apple, banana, cherry, and so on. But we have a lot of images, all right? So what I want to do is I want to take maybe only the first 10 images for each folder because 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's only 100 calls per there's only 100 calls per minute. So I'm just gonna take 10 for this. Let's see whether we can do this. The fruits simplified for the uh, instead of the fruits simplified folder, I want to search over the fruits folder, which contains the following subfolders. Each of the subfolders, I want to extract only the first 10 image files that end in .jpeg, .jpg, .jpeg, .png. Okay, so I want to go directly to the fruits folder, right? Because the fruits folder contains a lot of things. And I want them to, extract out the images over the fruits folder instead. Embed all image, traverse each subfolder of fruits, and that was built against the fruits category. Okay, looks good. So let's copy, paste this here. Fruits, apple, fruit, image for .png. Let's see. .jpeg. Okay, that works. So now it should be embedding all 90 embeddings. So it might take a while. Let's give Cohere some time to run the embeddings. I wonder if there's an async mode that I can use the embeddings. Uh, don't think there's an async, but I think there should be. Yeah, there should be. Multimodal search for business, documentation, embed v4. I think it can be mixed. Endpoints embed. Ah, there we go. Input type. There's no input type for multimodal. Then what were we doing? guess over here in the text inputs, you can, no, but this is text input classification. Images. Okay, I guess if anything, input type multimodal is possible. It's just not in the documentation. They didn't update their documentation. And somehow ChatGPT managed to get it. Interesting. Probably need to go and uh, inform Cohere whether, like, ask Cohere whether this works, because this is not in their documentation, yet it works. Funny, right? Yeah. I mean, all this search query and image are in their documentation. You can see search query is for querying at vector DB. Text async. Okay, so we do have an async thing, all right? So let's see whether we can run async. But images, they didn't put async. So my suspicion is that they haven't really updated their API. Let's see what I can use the async method to run this, because it's taking a while. So let's just interrupt this kernel. Okay, let's just see here. Use the async API to run the embeddings. Okay, I wonder if this will work. Cohere async clients. Not sure whether the V2 embeddings are async or not. This is client V2, you see? But here the async client doesn't look like it's. I'm not sure whether it will work, but let's just try it. Yeah, we can just await this query. We don't need this. Unexpected indent. Okay, it's not going out well. Let's just revert back to the previous one. Okay. Use back this code. Now every time an embedding is initiated, print out that the embedding is complete. Yeah, I don't want them to use async API. I think the async API documentation is not very well documented. So Cohere, if you are ever looking at this video, I'm not sure why your documentation doesn't have an async image. That's one. And I'm also not sure why the input type has multimodal that works, but here in the documentation it doesn't. So maybe it's in the V1. Let's take a look. So it's not in V1 as well. So I have no idea. Well, okay, I have no idea why it's working, but no, if it works, let's not worry too much about it. Okay, so we'll print and we will see when the embeddings are created, so that, hey, why is it async output the whole chunk of code? it didn't it because I think how OpenAI created this is that this part here, this canvas here is a separate tool, so it needs to update canvas. So in this case, it didn't update canvas. It's okay. We can just take this whole code here and copy and paste it. Do not use async. Just use the sync API v2. Thought I told them to not use async already. Why did they use async? So you see, this is a problem with byte coding. Sometimes it assumes that you want something when you may not want it. So I just want it to basically use the sync version because I have more faith in this sync version. Okay, let's copy and paste this inside. Okay, loading the cache embedding for this. Very good. Banana fruit, cherry fruit, chiku fruit, grape fruit, kiwi fruit. Okay, why do I need to recompute orange fruit? Oh, I haven't done. Oh, just now it was computing orange. Okay, no wonder it didn't work. Okay, because it takes time to load the embeddings, which is perfectly fine. Okay, it's really perfectly fine because you don't expect this to be instant, right? So you want this to, in fact, we can do it across all the images. We just need to let it load a little bit more. Parent home folder is not defined. All right, let's copy and paste this here. Take a look. Put here. All right, let's see. Okay, so there's some stuff that this embedding didn't do too well. Stuff like negation. So we just need to take note that we try not to use negation instead. We try to give everything in the positive for Cohere embeddings. Okay, so we have loaded the cache embeddings for all this. Oh, ta-da! Apple, 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 apple. Yes. Okay, this looks like an apple, but is it apple? Yes, they loaded everything for apples. Awesome. Great job. Let's try top 10 as 20 to see whether it loads the bananas also. So let's see. Apple, 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 apple. Oh, it didn't load the bananas. Okay, so it loaded the cherries instead. So what this means is that the multimodal input is not exactly doing that well after all. Let's just try loading the. Oh, this is apple fruit. Oh, no wonder. Okay, okay. So it's not. It's I don't blame it. Okay, so you should go to banana fruit. You should go to banana fruit because banana fruit has a maybe image one. Okay. So of course we can also make the inputs here be text, all right? So like we can have banana, apple, or this like text as well. I'm sure this would work, but I'm more interested to use a hybrid text image to search over images. Like see that we have banana, banana, apple. Very good. We have a hybrid of apple and bananas now. Yep. So okay. I mean there are some stuff that are not apples and bananas, like here. This one, these are mangoes. I guess it will make do for now. Let's try to make the criteria even more rigid. All right, we make it such that we want it only leaf shown. All right, we only want stuff with leaves. Okay, this banana has no leaf. Okay, so yeah, we prioritize apples that have leaves. Okay, I mean looks good to me. This mango does look like an apple to me, so I give it to them. So yeah, looks great. Okay, so now let's say we just want bananas, but we only want green color. So I want to prioritize the green bananas first. Okay, so we have green, green, green. Okay, it looks promising. Then the later half of the images that have no bananas, it became green color. There we go. Multimodal embeddings done with text and image. And using this weird input type that is multimodal, which I'm going to email Cohere after this to see why does this work. Because it's not in their documentation, but it works. How did ChatGPT know about this? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm curious to find out whether this works for real because uh this is going to be quite impactful if if we could do a true multimodal text and image, which I seem to be able to do. Yeah. So now I want to do something even more remarkable. I want to filter by folder. I want to do a filtering by folder. So let's try to make this a little more complicated by filtering by folder. All right. So have as input a list of folders to filter by so that the search only is within these folders. All right, so this will help to, curate your search down to very, very specific folders that you want to use. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, what did they do? Filtering only those, embed all images to include subfolders. No, we don't want that to happen. Okay, we kind of want, because when we search the embeddings, we want to search only those with those folders, all right? We need the filtering to be done at retrieval time, not at the embedding time. So they need to change their embedding to have a folder inside, okay? Because we need the folder to, okay, so over here, it still did not have the folder. Let's take a look to see whether, they managed to do it. Query now accepts an optional include. It filters primarily search to only images whose immediate parent folder are in that list. All right, so include subfolders, apple fruit, banana fruit. Okay, so it looks like we don't need to change the vector embeddings. Okay, that's interesting. And during the query time, we get the embedding here. It includes all the embeddings. Oh, I guess it's because the top K is done later. We don't use we are just using the SQL database just as a storage. We are not using it to get top K embeddings. So we retrieve out all the top K embeddings here. And then after that, we do top K inside here. Somewhere here, top K. So this top K, I guess, is not the most efficient, but for small databases, it's fine. For larger ones, maybe you need to use the hierarchical network, hierarchical small network, HSWN, or some other efficient ways of doing KV and KV retrieval, key value retrieval. Okay, so we run this apple, 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 apple. Very good. It's all apples. What if I don't put banana? I don't put apple fruit. I just put banana fruit. Let's see what happens. Well done, ChatGPT. Well done. Well done. It's awesome. So it's like without the apple fruit, it gives me everything else. So wow. Wow. Okay, yeah, it's working, it's working. It filters by folder now. So like only when I do apple fruit like that. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to create a UI. To do this, create me a nice UI display using Python that takes in image or text inputs, can be either or both, and takes in top K and takes in subfolders as a list that can be selected as a list of checkbox, and outputs the top K images. All right, so this is going to be quite advanced because now I want the UI. Okay, so I wonder what they will use for the UI, right? What they use of widgets, all right? The UI widgets are fine. We can also use Jupyter. We can also use Gradio, but widgets are fine also. Let's just see whether the widgets work. Okay. Right, all goes nothing. What's happening? Okay, it looks like nothing's happening. Um, okay. See. Nothing's happening. Yeah. So I guess like as a future extension to this, I want to investigate whether just filtering by images only, like embedding by image is better, or if you use a multimodal LLM to convert that image into a description and you embed that text description, you could have two embeddings for each item. Like an image can have both the text embedding and the image embedding. And you could query both indexes and you know come up with a return a list of basically um you can run the top K over both indexes and see what works. So you can have the best of both worlds, a text embedding as well as an image embedding. And we're quite curious to see whether this can be done. Yeah, maybe I'll do it as another session, but definitely not today. I'm just wondering why these widgets are not working. So um, let's just restart and run ourselves again. Okay, maybe there's something that we need to restart. Okay, nothing is being shown, all right? So, okay, let's wait a while. Let's wait a while. Be patient a bit. So we're supposed to get the widgets as here. It's not getting it. It's all right. It's all right. Maybe we cannot use widgets for this. Um, Instead of widgets, use Gradio instead. Okay, so this is the beauty of vibe coding. If you want something, you just say it out in English, and this is actually a very difficult code to write because you need to write Gradio and stuff like that. Like you need to change the whole widget code to Gradio. But wow, okay, okay, okay. I hope this works. Hope this works. Um, Ingress OS. Okay, let me just copy and paste this back here. I love that ChatGPT can use Gradio quite well. I've used it for a couple projects and it's doing quite well. Right, so we have fruits folder and we take the top 10 fruits and just copy and paste this thing here to see what works. Right, I'll be very impressed if it can just run like that. Yeah. Okay, it's not running. Okay, let's take a look what it's doing. Okay, we have text query, we have image query, we have a slider, we have filters checkbox group. Okay, we have a button to search and we have a gallery to show results. All looks quite promising. Okay, but it's somehow not running, right? Okay, I don't know how long I should give it to run because it's loading. Maybe I should say like print out the embeddings as they are cached or retrieved as a status message. Because I want to see what's going on behind the scenes. I want to see whether is it jammed there or it's really doing something. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, copy and paste this. Let me just interrupt this kernel, copy and paste this. Restart and run ourselves. Okay, so this is my multimodal embedding here, and okay, so you see it's loading the images, indexing, loading. It's generating. Oh, oh, okay. I see why. I see why it's generating for uh it's generating for all the images, not just the top 10. All right. You see, this is the problem with byte coding. It forgot my earlier instruction to not generate more than that. But since it's generating, let's just how many of each fruit are there? 40. Okay, so we might take a while to generate this. We have to figure out how to make this faster. But okay, you see, now demo is not defined. Okay, let's run this again. Okay, so it's completed the indexing of this. Okay, let's see this. So it was trying to do the embeddings, all right? So that's why the status message is important. Okay, define demo before using it. Okay, let's copy and paste here. Okay. Gallery object has no style. All right, let's see this. So if an AI agent could just take the error output, put back here, change the code, and so on, it'll be very useful. But because sometimes the error message and the code change might lead to even worse results. So to me, I think a human in the loop is still important here for now. Until the AI is so decidedly better than humans, all right? Then we can just automate this whole error processing. Because I'll be very worried if I put sensitive keys inside here. It might just disclose them to the world, send an email, and so on. So even for today's demo, I made sure that this key here is something that's not very sensitive to me because if it's sensitive, I don't want it to spread. And yeah, so that's why when you do vibe coding, it's best to in your dot environment, your code, your API keys here, best to use a sacrificial copy that you can delete after this. Like I'm going to delete this key afterwards. Actually, I don't have to delete, it's a free key. But just for good practice, I'll delete this after. So when you do vibe coding, you don't want to accidentally release your API key to the world. All right, that's not a good intent. So just give a sacrificial key here that if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. It's fine. It's totally okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see whether it works. Oh, okay. Okay, let's run this in local. I'm just going to delete everything here. So that, all right, so we have a text query. We can enter the text here. So we can filter by the subfolders. Okay, let's just query Apple. Okay, where's the search button? Okay, so there's an error here. Let's see what's the error. Okay, I'm not able to find the error here. There is an error when pressing the search button after typing in Apple in the text query. Okay, let's just see what they solve it. If we can create the whole Gradio interface, this will be awesome. Do you share the stack error trace? Can you change the code for Gradio to output the error when there is any? Okay, let's just copy and paste here. New chat. Change this code to output any error that Gradio returns. Right, I guess the previous search was too long. So, now we have this. We can start anew, which is fine. So, but what will happen is that um the agent, the ChatGPT itself, it may not remember what's going on. Okay, so this would mean that sometimes you need to retell it like what you want to do. Okay, so maybe I hit the rate limit for overall mini high. I'm not sure why it's like that, but yeah, you can see that it was working just now. I will try to get this UI to work. It looks quite nice actually. Like here you can click to upload. You can go to here, you can upload fruits, apple, you can upload this, ta-da, and like that. You can search. Okay, we take away the apple query. Search. Okay, still doesn't work. So, but this is really cool. You see, like all this. So what happens is that like if I were to give it different folders, it's able to find out which are the subfolders because I'm quite sure that it will load all the subfolders every time you run this. Where's my subfolders? Let's see subfolders. Yeah, so you will search the parent directory which you are given here, fruits. So every time you have new stuff in the folder, this thing here will be updated accordingly. You can select all this. And you know, this is the good thing about this, like it's very versatile. Like based on the folders you have, you can select what are the folders you want. I guess you can also filter by metadata as well. Like each image could have some metadata attached, like this is taken at what time, this is taken at what place, and you can filter by metadata as well. I'm sure you can write code that out. Yeah, I'm very, very sure that you can do it. It's not difficult. You don't even need a vector DB for this. I mean, if you have like less than 1 million images, I don't think this is very time consuming to do it by hand. All right, I'm not sure why this is not working. Okay, let me start a new chat. Change this code to output any errors that Gradio returns. So I'm very keen to get Gradio working. Okay, now it's working. Okay, so da 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 da. All right. So with an error output, what will happen is that I can copy and paste back the error in ChatGPT. Show error is true. Okay, so it's just a show error is true here. We paste here. Okay. See. Link this one here. Let's just search Apple here and search the Apple. Okay, we have an error. Does it show the error? There we go. All right, so what's this error about? The process API error that processes events cannot get class none type. Replace the error return. Instead of saying none to the image, it now raises an error. gr.error message. Okay, no, what I want it to do is if the text or image field is empty, do not need to raise an error and instead just process whatever fields that are present. Only when both text and image are missing, raise an error. Because I don't want it to, keep raising errors when it's nothing, because it's not meant to take in both image and text, but it's a possibility. Okay, and I also want it to have multiple images, but let's not confuse ChatGPT for now. Let's run this. Okay, so it loaded top 20, I think. Like for each images, it loaded top 20. So top 10. Okay, it's top 10, but I guess the top 10 is different for each one. Okay, so Apple. Okay, let's copy paste the error back again. So we are debugging Gradio now, right? Just now we were doing the embeddings, it was working perfectly fine. Now we are debugging Gradio. Right, let's okay. SQLite save access. I guess this is some issue with accessing SQLite. Okay, what I want to do is I want to let's just create a global variable debug that when true prints out the print statements, else do not print out. Okay, because it's taking quite a bit of yeah. So debug environment in os.get environment debug. Uh Okay, so if there's no debug in your get environment, you you would have a no debug message. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's run this because I kind of want to just load the Gradio without the debugging. Oh wait, I forgot to copy and paste, right? Did I copy and paste? Oh yeah, I copy and pasted already. Okay, what is happening? They created a debug print for me that only prints when you are debugging, but there's nothing happening here. Let's just restart and run again. Launch with debug to surface errors. Okay, yeah. Apple. Oh, it's working. It's working. All right. Yes. Wow, it's really cool. I mean, this didn't come. Wow, wow. Oh, Graduate is so cool. All right, let's just run with all of the. Okay, search with this. Search Apple without leaf. Search. Okay, I cannot put without leaf because like Apple with no leaf. Maybe that will work. Apple only. Okay. So, uh, one thing is that like if you want to do like stuff like without, maybe you have a text query that is negated of that text query that we filter out images that correspond to that text query, like Apple with leaf. You can filter out all those with leaves, but you cannot do the negation in the text query. Okay, it doesn't really work that way. Let's just upload maybe a grape, maybe a mango. We upload one mango here, and we search. Okay, maybe we do top K as 17. There we go. We have mango here. Apple is taking up most of it. I guess it confused mango with chiku fruit. So let's search again. Oh, I guess like Apple only is taking up too much of the strength of the search. So we just put Apple and then yes. So the only made a difference. All right. So you see, you have mango fruit here, mango. Oh, really cool. Right. What I want to do is I want to make this a little more complicated. I want to have multiple text queries and multiple image queries. Let there be multiple text queries and multiple image queries. Uh, Set the subfolders to be everything as default. All right, let's see whether this works. Okay, this is actually quite a tall order for ChatGPT to create. This is really difficult. Copy. Okay, delete all this. Paste. And we restart kernel and run all cells as usual. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see whether we can do like the embeddings API as oh. Okay, so there's now one single image and one single text was working quite well already. Let's see whether we can do like multiple images and multiple texts. So of course, if you want to change instead of Cohere API, you have to use like Titan API or some other multimodal index, multimodal embedding. Sure, go ahead. It's just that Cohere was the easiest for me because like the API is the easiest to run. Yeah. Okay. Text queries one per line. Image queries. Apple. Can I do more than one apple? Oh yes, I can. Yes, I can do apples. Let's just search with 4 apple images and see whether it works. Okay, it's taking a while to search. I guess it needs to embed all these apples one by one. That's why it's taking a while. because it's the first time they see such images. I wonder if very nice. Okay, let me just try 20. Yeah, very good, very good. It has the apples there. I wonder if it's able to store in the every time you search an image, it's able to store in the folder. I guess it can because like it's able to store in the JPEG uh key. So like if it's an image, key is this image relative to parent. So it's the path. So I guess as long as your path is there, it can store and then you upload the same image, it will it will be able to process it. And also it's a little dangerous in this case because if your image is a different image with the same name, this thing might store it. It might think it's the same thing. So maybe for user inputs, we don't cache it. That's one way. Okay, but for now, because my user input is the same as my is the same as my database, so we don't really need to worry about this. Okay, but maybe it might be the case that you need to say that, hey, for your user input, you don't cache it. So maybe let's do that now. Yeah, I mean like do not cache the user images provided as input queries. Because we don't want that to happen. Like you don't want you don't want people's image the same name, you can cache it similarly. You don't want that to happen. You want it to like every single time they upload an image, you want to run the embedding one time, right? Because you want to avoid storing to your database something that that may not be correct. Skip cache is true. So user okay, that sounds good. So let's copy paste this here, run this. Oh, very good. You see by default it loads everything apple, banana. Very nice. So, I mean, the next thing that we could do is like, you could say, I don't want something like not no leaf or something, then all the leaves will be gone. You know what? Maybe we could do that like create a negative filter whereby whereby with text or and or image in this negative filter, we um we retrieve top K top K items and exclude it from the user search results. This negative filter should be positioned below the positive filter in Gradio. Should be totally optional. Okay, let's take a look. This will be a bit difficult because there's a negative embedding now. Exclude their top K, all right? So you see we have a negatives here. And then after that, we want to, okay, let's just see whether it works, okay? Awesome, okay, so we have positive X queries and then we would leave over here and then we search whether it works. Okay, so I don't want any leaf, but then the leaf comes out first. Fruit with leaf. Okay, if I don't put the fruit with leaf, Yeah, it gives me apples. Okay, maybe I put red. I want it to be green. You see, so like, see, this is still not doing that well. So let's see what's going on. Negative queries. Okay, so okay, so I guess what we'll do is we'll just do like apple or just do like leaf maybe as a positive set and just see what comes up. So okay, these are what comes up with leaf. So I guess if we put apples with leaf, we should get only the apples with leaf. So all these are leaves. Okay, so okay, we filled up. Okay, let's put apple here and the negative apple with leaf. Okay, we might get 0 images because of this. Okay, so it took away all the apples. Okay, so that's not what we want because it removed everything. So just okay, see here the leaf is still there. If I put apple without leaf, I'm sure I'll get the same stuff because without and with in the embeddings is the same. So if I just put like leaf, it won't filter out the leaf because the leaf is apple with leaf. Okay, we should just put this here. See over here, it took away this. So this image 18, right? So let's just put image 18 here as the negative filter. Okay, and we can search. So it takes us some time to process the embedding, and oh, actually it's much better to use the image filter. So let's say if I want an image that looks like this, and I don't want an image with leaf. Okay, very good. So it turns out that the negative image queries, it might be better if I were to, just use an image, right? I mean, like I can put here red. Okay, let's see what happens. Means I don't want any red objects. 3 red objects will be taken away. Okay, so what I want to do is like for negative images and text, once removed, find out the top K from the remainder. Okay. So I don't want to just search top K. I want to the top K results. Oh, okay, okay. So it means that like let's say you're doing 11, right? Or 20, you still get 20 after doing this filter. Because they already filtered out by getting this. So over here, you see, after we filter all the negative embeddings here, we still have all the positively ranked stuff here, which is everything. Okay, and then we do a top K. So we should already get a top K like that, which in this case is 20, 3, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17. Yeah, yeah. So actually it's already doing the job. And ChatGPT, instead of catering to my request, it told me that, maybe I should reconsider. And yes, it's right. ChatGPT is right. But I encourage everyone, don't just blindly listen to this. You need to really figure out whether it's right or not because it might deceive you. All right. So in this case, it's right. So over here, maybe I have to put banana as my positive text query. I want it to be red, so it should be bananas. Oh my gosh, it's so good. So good. Wow.